So with episode 3 Heresy now closely approaching and new articles set to drop in the coming weeks, giving us a little tease about what is coming with the new episode, I thought it would be a good idea to compile everything that we already know into one video for you guys today. Everything from the brand new dungeon to the return of a fan favourite destination from Destiny 1, we'll be going over all of it here in today's video. So let's just jump right into it, first talking about news that we got literally last week inside of the TWID in regards to a brand new dungeon. So the new dungeon itself is called Sundered Doctrine and will be going live on the 7th of February. That is following the actual episode's release on the 4th of February, and this dungeon will of course have contest mode for 48 hours, and there'll be a whole dungeon race similar to what we got with Vesper's Host. Now, one thing to note about this dungeon is that, of course, contest 48 hours, you'll need to be 1995 power at least for the cap for all of the encounters within contest mode, and the dungeon itself is going to be taking place inside of Rolk's pyramid ship inside of Savathun's throne world. Now, if you remember, that was the location for the Vow of the Disciple raid, so this is going to be only the second time that a raid location is reused for a dungeon. If you remember back within episode 2, we did get Vesper's Host, which was kind of reusing Deepstone Crypt a little bit. Didn't really take place on Europa, it took place more in a Clovis Bray abandoned space station, but had the similar look and vibe of Deepstone Crypt. Either way, I'm very excited to learn more about this dungeon. In my opinion, Vow of the Disciple has the best raid, just design visually out of all of them. Whole load of stuff to learn from that, and I'm very interested to learn more. One thing we can speculate on though is of course the brand new emblem that you get from watching the Dungeon Zone livestream. This emblem can be found a little bit further down into the TWID article itself. Now, this emblem features a worm that is segmented into different sections and more of a orange or amber coloured background. Now, if you remember back in the Vow of the Disciple raid, there was a whole load of these worms that were cut up and put into this amber-like stone. So it was very interesting to see that they incorporate this into an emblem. Maybe this could be a tease that the worm gods themselves are going to play a big part within the dungeon or maybe the episode as a whole. So I'm very interested to learn more there. If you want to go and explore the raid for yourself, you can once again go into that mission that I mentioned. It's within the throne world. You can just click on it and go through and play the intro part of the raid and see what is left of the raid after you've gone and beaten it. You can see that the worm god that was a main part or a main visual aspect within the raid is like kind of lifeless, so maybe that will play a part within the dungeon. No idea, but I'm very excited to learn more either way. And another thing to note is that once you complete the dungeon on contest mode, you are guaranteed to get the new dungeon exotic weapon from completing contest, and to enter the dungeon you will need to have claimed the final shape dungeon key and acquire the Drowning Labyrinth quest. Now, moving on from dungeon stuff, let's go and take a look at the Journey Ahead video that we got a while back and go over all the information that we can learn from that one. So, first thing to note is that the Dreadnaught will be returning inside of this episode. Yes, the D1 destination that was added inside of the Taken King expansion is set to return within this episode, and I'm hoping that they return it in a similar way that they did to the Leviathan inside of Season of the Haunted. If you remember back to that season, they brought back the entire Leviathan basically as an open explorable destination that you could go into and just explore. There was like a public event activity that would happen there, and you could earn loot just by exploring the destination. Fingers crossed that they return the Dreadnaught in a similar way to that. I really hope that it's more than just a place we go and explore within the seasonal activity, so fingers crossed for that. But the Dreadnaught itself will be looking more different than it used to within Destiny 1. The black hive texture is being pulled back and revealing more of a bony front to it, so it looks really cool from the concept art that we see, and I'm very interested. Hopefully there's a lot of secrets to explore and just a reason to actually go and explore this place. Fingers crossed once again for that explorable patrol zone, similar to what we got with the Leviathan. But moving on from the Dreadnaught itself, we also get a look at some of the weapons coming with this brand new episode, them being also themed around the Dreadnaught and revealing a bony front. So the weapons that we end up seeing within this video include a fusion rifle, glaive, sidearm, linear fusion rifle, and a bow. But then we also do see what looks like either a pulse rifle or a trace rifle, and then a hand cannon as well within some of the armor concept art. Now, these two weapons don't follow the same design idea as the like other weapons that I mentioned. Those ones have a bony front. These ones are more like greenish and match the armor set, so they might just be concept art weapons that are used to show the armor off better, or maybe they could be brand new dungeon weapons. I have no idea. But either way, they're in this journey ahead video, so I wanted to bring them up, even if they don't end up being anything in particular. Now, moving on from that, let's talk about the armor sets themselves as well, because there are two to mention within this episode. First one is a Eris Morn Hive themed armor set, which has like a black and green basic idea and has very big Eris Morn themes. These look really, really cool. Going to be the first time that we should get an Eris Morn themed set, and all of the sets include like this green thumbprint kind of design or fingerprint pattern going through it. Now I'm really hoping that those green parts do actually shade with shaders, because having those be like kind of an RGB effect would look really, really cool. So fingers crossed for that. And I'm expecting that this Eris Morn themed set is going to be the set that you earn throughout just the season pass, or maybe the seasonal activity. And then the second set is like a Hive ship admiral type vibe. Looks like a formal pirate almost. Got a mixture of Hive bone in there with some like ripped up bits of fabric. It's almost like an undead vibe as well from it, with it being like kind of worn and stuff. So it looks really cool. So if you're interested in that, that'll probably be found within the later half, the actual like ornamented set for the episode. It looks really cool, and hopefully it shades well as well. And then some other things to note within this video is that we do see Hive Worm Gods appearing inside of some cinematics, in-game cinematics that we'd normally expect to see within game. Hive Worm Gods appearing definitely points us towards the direction that Hive Worm Gods are going to be playing a big part within this episode. And then one of the Bungie devs does talk a little bit about the brand new activity that we can expect to see within Heresy itself, pointing that if you liked the coil activity, you might like this new activity as well. So maybe it's taking some inspiration from that activity, which would be very, very good. Coil was a very much loved activity, so if they could bring something like that back, but have it not be a complete clone and maybe update it in some way, that would be a good thing nonetheless. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for episode 3 that we know so far. Obviously, with it releasing in just under 2 weeks, pretty much, we should be getting articles in the next couple of weeks, giving us a more in-depth look. There's probably going to be a reveal stream as well. And I do believe that as well as the episode going live, I believe PlayStation might also be doing a reveal stream or like a state of play stream on that same Tuesday. So hopefully Bungie has something to show for Frontiers, maybe a little cinematic trailer to kind of get hype going in that direction, maybe a look at maybe a reveal stream date or something along those lines. This is the last episode before that expansion launches, that being codename Apollo within Project Frontiers, maybe an official title drop, who knows. Very excited nonetheless. Fingers crossed that something gets announced for that. Either way, I'm very, very excited for this new episode. Hopefully it delivers. Me personally, the last 2 episodes haven't really been that great. This one really needs to hit hard, especially since it's the last one that we're getting before the next expansion. Either way, that's everything for today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.